characterizations of some that teaching is an easy job with short hours, summers off. The fact is, successful, dedicated teachers in the U.S. work long hours for little pay and in many cases insufficient support from their leadership. That is according to Andrea Schauser. Today, I want to talk about something important, a role that has affected all of our lives, a role that has helped pave our way, a role that has had a major effect on our future and our children's future. I want to discuss the importance. I want to discuss the importance of increasing teachers' pay in North Carolina. According to research, North Carolinian teachers receive the lowest compared to our neighboring states. Too often we lose great teachers because the state is not willing to pay them enough to survive for themselves or for their families. As a young adult, I really wanted to become a teacher. I love the ideal of teaching children their ABCs, having the summers off, and being able to wear blue jeans to work. But then reality set in. My best friend, who was a teacher, fresh out of college, was struggling to pay her bills. I remember her telling me she could barely afford to buy school supplies for her classroom. She was always telling me that she loved teaching, but she's not sure how much longer she can afford to do so. I then realized that we have a problem. Why should a teacher have to struggle to buy supplies for her classroom? Shouldn't we have a separate fund to provide supplies for our students? She loved teaching but was forced to quit her career in the field. She loved teaching, but she was forced to quit and switch career fields because she could not afford her school loans or to live on her own. She went from teaching biology to working in pharmaceutical sales. So not only are we losing teachers for other states in North Carolina, we're also losing them to other career fields. To place things in perspective, let's think about a new teacher in our state. You just graduated from school. You have a job. You have a job at teaching at a new elementary school. You are excited. Now that you have a job offer, you start apartment searching and realize the average price for a decent one bedroom is $850. You place your application in at your new prospective apartment and find out you barely have enough money to qualify. You then have rent of $850 and you pay $250 per month for utilities. So monthly living expenses are around $1,100 per month. For the first month, you're managing it, you're doing well. And then you receive your first bill from Sallie Mae in the amount of $50,000 with a minimum payment of $400 per month. You then realize you cannot afford your apartment and your school loan. You only receive $2,266 per month after taxes. This means you only have $516 for utilities, groceries, 401k, gas. With this $516, you also need to be able to buy supplies for your first grade classroom of 24 students. You are now struggling and living paycheck to paycheck. You have picked up a second job of driving Uber to provide the minimum necessities for yourself. You come to school the next day to teach your 24 first graders, and you just left your part-time job at 12 a.m. This is the real struggle of many North Carolina teachers. Average school loan debt for a teacher is $50,000 if he or she graduated and went to a graduate school. And the average bedroom in the RTP area is $850 according to Credible.com. How can we continue to live under these circumstances? We must increase teacher pay because our future depends on it. As you can see, teacher salary is a major problem. First, we would like to discuss how North Carolina is well under the national average for teacher salary. Next, I want to discuss Next, I want to discuss the problem it's causing in our school system and the students. And lastly, I want to make suggestions on how we can tackle this issue as a taxpayer. So let's discuss the main concerns of teachers who teach in North Carolina simply do not earn enough. According to an article written on WRAL, the state average for a teacher is $45,967. It's almost $10,000 less than the national average. Starting pay for a teacher in North Carolina is $30,800, and it takes them 15 years to reach $40,000. This salary is zilch when you compare it to things that they do throughout the year. When we think about school teachers, we cannot only think about when the bell starts and when the bell ends. We must realize that they teach seminars. They're on bus duty daily. They spend a lot of money grading essays and tests and planning lessons to make sure our children have an educational and they spend many late nights making sure that our children have a good educational learning environment. They're also required to provide learning resources such as computers, books, and other materials. We must realize that teachers are the foundation of the future. Teachers have an influence on everything we do. Teachers mold our prospective doctors, lawyers, attorneys, engineers, professors, and future presidents. North Carolina also has a large problem with budget cuts. Too often we are affected by the governor's fastest decision to slice the budget, leaving our school system with less money to spend on employee benefits, little money to spend on materials, larger classroom sizes, and delays on many textbooks. Budgets can also mean cutting electives which leave many teachers without jobs and forces them to teach classes that they don't desire to teach. Just yesterday alone, I noticed that my son, who's in first grade at Pennsyltown Elementary School, his teacher has a classroom of 26 students. It's the largest classroom that she has had in years. She then introduced me to her teacher assistant, who she also shares with another classroom of over 20 students. So my question is, why do an underpaid teacher has to share her assistant with another student, another class that also has 20 plus students when they're already underpaid? We cannot continue to fall under the bottom line of the national list. Higher teacher pay will lead to better teachers, higher classroom morale, more enthusiastic children who are willing to learn. Next, I want to talk about the sad reality of low teacher pay in North Carolina and how we're losing our teachers to other states and other careers. Annually, many teachers migrate from North Carolina, not because we are bad drivers or we increase property taxes. They simply cannot afford to live in the state that many of them are born and raised in. According to the article written by Jesse Clark of WUNC, in 2015, 1,082 teachers left the classroom in other parts of the country. With this large number of teachers migrating, we will lose too many of our new veteran teachers, our old teachers, and turnover will continue to rise. How many teachers must we lose to create a livable wage? Valerie Strauss of the Washington Post research teachers and the average salary. Doing her research, she found a wrenching fact. Over 60% of teachers work second jobs, dine in food banks, and even sell their blood to make ends meet. Yes, our teachers are selling their blood to make ends meet. This is an example of how worried. This is an example of how worried teachers have become regarding their finances. She also mentioned quality teachers are walking away from professions and salary. Part of the reason is because they simply cannot afford to live. I also want us to think of another harsh fact that I found on Glassdoor.com. The average general manager at a McDonald's makes $40,647, while the average starting teacher pay in North Carolina is $30,800. So my question is, why should a general manager at McDonald's get paid more than our North Carolina teachers? Not that we're downplaying an employee of McDonald's, but why are we paying our teachers less and they pretty much mold our future in our society? Sharon Boxley, another North Carolinian teacher who is a native to the state, she taught in Greene County schools, and she left recently to teach in Maryland because she could make $15,000 to $20,000 more. We must increase in teachers' pay in North Carolina to help retain good quality teachers. We now have to discuss the issues of low pay and how it can have an effect on our teachers, our classrooms. Now let us discuss possible solutions to fix the problems. We could simply increase pay. We can simply increase teachers' pay, but that would be too easy. One idea is better incentives for our teachers. I'm not talking about chump change. I'm talking about competitive programs that entice them to stay. For those teachers who have high student loan debt, I think we should implement a program. To help them pay off their student loan debts. I think we should also have a program that helps them with down payment assistance for those teachers who can't afford to necessarily buy a home or come up with down payment. I thought there should be a program that we can help them get into their first home. And like how many military, they have discount everywhere, whether they go to a hotel, whether they book a flight, even if they go into a restaurant, they offer discounts. And I think we should implement the same idea for our North Carolina teachers. I know you guys are probably thinking, how can we afford this? But trust me, we can. An article on Monday that shows the average that are spent on students in North Carolina is a little below $10,000, when we're spending almost $30,000 a year to house one prisoner. So only thing we pretty much need to do is adjust some funds and spend more money on education and less money on prisoners. In conclusion, I hope that you want to understand our core problems with low payment in our teachers. I hope you understand that we need to fix this problem or we will continue to lose quality teachers in North Carolina. This is a small fix of teacher pay that will have a trickle-down effect on morale of our teachers and construct brighter potential for our students. So it's pretty much simple. Better teachers can create better learning environments for students, which then in return gives society a more educated individual. Teachers make a difference, and we will serve our students better by focusing on attracting and retaining quality teachers by raising teachers' pay, according to Judge Bush. And I thank you for your time.